it's cutting down the nets, getting our swagger back a little bit. And look, I apologize. These shows have been very negative lately, and that's on me. But my mental health was in the toilet with recent performance. But we're clawing our way out of it. And I'm introducing a brand new metric today called shot quality beta. So, what am I talking about? As you know, I've referenced the ranking for shot quality in all the matchups of note. I'm now going to actually try and beta a shot quality point spread. So, what that looks like is I just paste all the data into a CSV, and then I've got this stupid manual calculation I have to do for VLOOKUPs, but it will give me a shot quality spread. I'm only going to do it on games of note. I'm not running it for every game because, look, I've spent my whole life, my life's work has been automation. The last thing I need is a manual process introduced to slow me down. So, shot quality beta is what I'm calling it. So here's the good. Instead of just saying, hey, they're 4th and they're 11th, what's that mean? It means if I were to use the efficiencies that shot quality has, Texas Tech is favored by 0.3. So if any game of note, I'm going to be listing that. Here's the downside. Shot quality beta, Torvik, KenPom. We're adding yet another full season statistic. And as you know, everything I've done is based on more recent data. So just something to note that I'm not going to go against it. It's a good check, and you'll see examples in this slate for today as to like what I mean. But I think instead of just having rankings and saying, hey, shot quality is close, so we're good, or, ooh, it's a big shot quality difference, converting that into an actual metric is a far more sound process. All right, first game up, Baylor, Texas Tech. I had Texas Tech by 4 based on recent data, but a lot of the recent data for Baylor is not at full strength. Using the shot quality efficiencies, they're at 0.3. The line is 1. Basically, it's like no, I've seen enough that I'm kind of on an island there. Don't love the game. Baylor's getting healthy. We're moving on. Here's another example. Purdue Northwestern, I had that closer to 3, just based on how Purdue has done from an adjusted efficiency standpoint the last handful of games. Line's 5.5, but shot quality's saying 6. So that's a no. But hey, here, we got one. I've got Miami by 6.5. The line is 2. And using shot quality efficiencies, have Miami by 4.5 on the road. And yes, I'm accounting for a home court edge there as well. So I've got this in yellow just because Miami's interior defense is certainly an issue. But Louisville settles for a lot of jumpers, so I think it's okay. You kind of don't know what you're getting with Louisville. They've obviously been through a lot in the last few weeks. Next game of note, St. John's and Xavier. So I have this far closer, 2.5, and everything else is pretty much in line in that 8 to 9 range. It does look like Posh was close to playing. Posh Alexander was close to playing last game. Obviously still questionable, not confirmed in. It'd go right up till game time. But yeah, I'd certainly be more interested if he played. I mean, legit player, offensive and defensive. And Xavier's good enough on the boards to control the pace a little bit, slow down the Johnnies. But yeah, would like to see Posh back and would like to see like a 9 for me to really be interested in. Look at this. We're just going to highlight this. I don't think I'm going to play it, but there's a lot to like about this game. So Gonzaga, I have by 35. Line's 29.5. Do I want to lay 4 touchdowns on the road? No. But Pepperdine, 316th in 2-point offense, 314th in 2-point defense. And this is a pace-up game for Gonzaga. They play a lot of slow, sloggy teams in the West Coast Conference. Pepperdine, not one of them. So we could, I mean, obviously it's not forecasted to stay competitive, but we could get into the 75 possessions, which is, oh daddy, could get out of hand. So maybe a first half bet. That was kind of my jam last year with Gonzaga. All right. Another game here, Jacksonville State, Lipscomb. So it's close, but not enough for me. And two outliers are really dragging the Jacksonville State profile down. That's what's happening. That's why that's showing. So that's a no. Seattle, Rio Grande Valley. Let's go. So instead of just saying, hey, Seattle's 161 and Rio Grande's 325 in shot quality, I'm converting that to an actual shot quality point spread. I want to point out, shot quality has service you can buy. It's only $3,000, I believe. I just think if you play 50 units a game and grind your D off to get to where you win 60 units in a season, so hey, $3,000 to give that all away for a website just makes zero sense to me. So that's why I'm trying to sleuth this a bit. We'll call it beta. It's not perfect, but I'm certainly going to save you $3,000. So what to like about this game? Turnover advantage Seattle. And Seattle's showing here despite two recent 3-point struggle buses. There is a free throw rate edge to Rio Grande Valley, and in their first meeting, they certainly shot a lot of free throws, like 37 free throws or something like that. But shot quality has this by 10. I have this by 10. Line 6, 6.5. Even if there was a 7 out there, I'm fine with it. So I am on Seattle U. Georgetown Marquette, I have by 19. Line is 14. Obviously, we've seen Georgetown's results recently, but if you mash up those efficiencies from shot quality, you get a 10, which is not surprising given that Georgetown is a 131, Marquette's a 61. So in a previous life, I would have said, that's pretty close to be laying 2 touchdowns. This just kind of helps back that up. So I really like what we got moving forward. Georgia, LSU. Georgia 126 shot quality, LSU 48. Here's the problem, though. Georgia's lost like every road SEC game by like this point spread. So I get it. Like, I understand it. And LSU, the last couple games, certainly looks like they're returning to early season form as they get healthy. Major turnover concerns for the Dogs here. But this is a lot of points in the dog days of the SEC play. Hoping LSU sleepwalks through this one a bit. I had it closer to 10. Those shot quality efficiencies make it 11.5. Sign me up. Don't like to lay points, as you know if you've been following this program for a while. But I have Boston College by 13.5. Shot quality efficiencies are 12.5. And the line's sitting at 9.5. I'd like a little more if I'm going to lay points. But something I probably would have been scared by in the past. Like Notre Dame 26, BC 123. How's that quantify? Well, that's what it looks like. So certainly interesting. Here's a red flag. Gardner-Webb by 7.7. Line's 3.5, but shot quality has that closer to a 1, and you can see that with the rankings as well. This one's fairly interesting. Shot quality and I are in agreement on Loyola Maryland Lafayette, with Lafayette being a short favorite, but currently we have Loyola favored by 1. Something to note, though, Lafayette is a high variance team, 46% 3-point rate. And these teams are far apart in records, but very close in shot quality. So it's kind of the stuff we like. Maybe we could even squeeze some extra points out of that, make me more interested in it. Morehead State, Tennessee Martin. Man, I don't know. Can someone check in on Morehead State? Like, can we phone a friend? I mean, call your buddies, see how they're doing. To melt against Belmont, where you led the entire game until the final 10 seconds, and then to do the exact same thing against Murray State in back-to-back games is it's going to be hard to get the boys up for Tennessee Martin on the road. But yeah, man, that's a bummer. They really had it, and they didn't even cover. So congrats to Murray State on Saturday for covering 3 seconds of the game. No surprise what side I was on. Presbyterian Upstate. So it's iffy. There's some life here, but there's a big rebound edge for Presbyterian, which likely slows the game down. There's a perimeter edge for Upstate, but these are two bad teams. Like, let's not force it when things aren't great, but we'll see what happens. So that's what's new. I kind of like it, I'll be honest. So 2 bets I've placed tonight, both just a few moments ago. Georgia plus 17.5. Seattle -6.5. I think it's pretty clear which ones I'm close to. And sometimes I do that right before I go to bed. Sometimes I do that as I wake up and see what the spreads are doing. Spreads are most active. I mean, just picture these time frames, like right, um, that 8 to 9 a.m. East Coast time seems to be a time where they start getting active. So about that 90-minute stretch. And then obviously, like when people get off work is another time where there can be a flurry of activity. So this is what I'm on. Let's get back on track. This is cutting down the nets, and we're moving forward.